I'm writing a paper on climate change for a class in environmental geology. Um, Usually the first thing I'll do is fire up Chrome. I like to try to find recent articles on the topic and use search tools in Google to filter down to the past year. And this is obviously a political topic as well, so we might find some things. Of course, the EPA, that's a good source. I like to open these in a new tab and keep going through the list um, instead of doing repeated searches. NY Times can sometimes be a good resource. I'll open up that article in a new tab. I try to ignore the politicians and their statements. I don't think they're credible in a research report. And there is Wikipedia, which oftentimes is not a source you can cite, so I try to find my own websites. Looks like most of our results are going to list politicians, so I'm going to have to go a little deeper. Not many people make it to the third page on Google. The Guardian is quoting NASA. I'm going to take a look at that article. I'll open it in a new tab as well. I'm going to try to get about 5 sites to start off with, and then we'll come back to our search results. Looks like the NCSE has a climate change site. I'm going to open that in a new window. I want to go to the 5th page of Google. I think I already have 2 government sites open. I don't want to open a third one. Maybe there's a research group with some information, recent information. Hmm. I'm going to modify my search a little bit. I'm going to add edu to try to find some education domains or .orgs. I just need one more. Don't seem to be satisfied with these results. Let's see if I missed anything on the first page. There is one more utility that I do use Google Scholar. Okay, I can remember. Let's see what we can find here. We'll filter since 2016. I think that's fine. Several PDFs. I'm going to go to the second page. Hmm. Just looking through the search results. Here's one from illinois.edu. Let's open that in a new tab. Take a look. So now we have 5 different sites that could potentially be used. Um, so I would just begin by looking at each site, assessing the information, what's available, and oftentimes try to make sure that the integrity of the information is suitable for a research paper. So the EPA is obviously a credible source. Depending on what is found here, let's see, we live in the southeast, so I'll use their map to look at climate impacts in the southeast. And would normally read through. It seems that this is actually much more information than I expected. Um, Read through the page in the article to see if there's anything fitting to the topic. Oftentimes there are references for the information, like here at the bottom. I would check some of these for additional information that may not be in this article. Um, it seems that some of these references are not current. There's one from 2011, so I probably wouldn't check that one if I wanted to get or stay current with the information. Um, but yeah, so this one is an NY Times article. Same thing. I would go through the article, read the information, see if it's fitting for the research project. There may be a quote or two here. I see that ExxonMobil is mentioned, which we know that fossil fuels have a large impact on the overall climate. The next one, which is number 3 here, is an article from The Guardian that seems to be citing a NASA source. So one of the first things I would look for is a reference of some kind to a NASA site that they got this information, if I could find it. If not, there should be mention somewhere in the article as to who they spoke with, or um, try to find out if this is a credible article. And if it is, then read through the article in full and extract any information relevant to the research. And then go on to the next one. So now I have the NCSC, which they have a .com/climate, a site here that's specifically labeled for climate. And while the front page of the site doesn't seem to have very much information, they have a link here to Climate Change 101 that I kind of skimmed and noticed. I would probably check this site and add it to the list. Well, actually, we'll go ahead and open that site in a new window and take a look at what's here. It seems to be a very brief article. Poses several questions about climate change, basically just explaining the basics. It seems to be there may be some implications mentioned here for if we do not take action, or explains how climate change is affecting the world overall. So yeah, we have, let's see, it looks like I've opened up 5 links. 2 are the same site. Once I gather the information, I make sure to save a list of each URL to um, a notepad, just so that if I ever close them, I still have a list of the URLs. Any information that I do extract, I try to make a note next to the URL that's a site I need to source. I mean, site I need to source, um, or a website that I need to cite. There we go. That's where I'm getting my words confused. So I just make a list of each one, however many. Start Once I've read about the topic, I'll start writing the paper. I never write my introductory paragraph first. I actually start off in the body, form a couple paragraphs about areas of the topic, and then try to put them in order that would flow through the topic to build this is research, so I guess you could say to build the case for for the message I'm trying to convey to the audience. Once I do that, I can formulate my thesis just based on the order of my body pretty easily. Um, and then, of course, I don't want to forget to actually cite the site. So the very last page, references or works cited. What I've been using since we are in the information age, to make things easier to where I don't miss a period or um, a date or an author, I would plug these sites into an electronic citing resource, which would something like, I think the Easy Bib is one to help generate the proper format, because I'm not an English major, so I will often forget which style, or depending on the professor, what they're asking, which style fits the research paper. So there's, MLA and APA, but pasting the URL in, and this will do a quick cite of the URL. Oftentimes it's missing information though, which is perfectly fine. This is the exact same thing you would do if you were building the the site string yourself. So things that are missing are the author, the publisher, and specifically the electronic publish date for this article. Excuse me. So I would just go back. So this one is the NCSC library. So we'll just, which site was that? I'd go back to the URL and try to find any information I could to fill in these fields. Some of these don't have an author because it's just the organization itself, right? So I think that you put in NA, no author, or no NP for no publisher. Um, there are rules to each, for each, whether MPA or MLA. And then you would just create the site, and I would copy and paste it into my reference page. Or actually, it does fill in NP and ND for you for this one. Um, I didn't notice that before. I've been putting those in myself. Um, if the first 5 to 6 sources are not sufficient, I would continue research. Again, Google Scholar will pull up research papers and books, and it'll also scan PDFs, so it kind of serves as a library, or can serve as a library resource. Depending on the requirements for my research paper, I may look at my local library. They sometimes have systems like Galileo if I need to find a research journal specifically. Um, I haven't done a very research heavy topic yet, so this is about as far as I would need to go. All right.